We have too many of our brothers and sisters out there dying from this. You've got to take care of yourself. Good afternoon. My name is Justin Silva. Joined the United States Navy in 1999. Finished my time in 2012, where I transitioned to the reserves. During my active time, I deployed to Balad, Iraq, 08, 09, where we served around the burn pits. After leaving Iraq, I served a couple more years until a military downsizing, transitioned to the reserves, and a civilian for the Department of the Navy. Prior to deployment, I was a water survival instructor at the Navy's only boot camp in Great Lakes, Illinois. Was in the best physical shape I had ever been in my life, even after boot camp and while serving. I left Great Lakes, started training for the Army, or started training with the Army for my deployment to Iraq. No issues during training, no issues during the physical stuff. Deployed to Iraq, was in pretty good health, and it was about 2 months into that tour that I started not being able to breathe. It felt like a rubber band around my chest. It got to the point where I thought I was having a heart attack in theater. They took me over to the base hospital, and there the doctor said, "Nope, you just have Iraqi crud. Everybody gets it that comes here. They're going to get used to it, and it'll go away eventually." Never went away, continued to have problems. When I left in 09, my physical readiness test in the Navy started to degrade. Right at the end of 2012, I had a failure of 2 physical readiness tests. And then when I came back in the reserves, I had 2 more failures on the physical readiness test. Those resulted in me being discharged from the reserves, not being able to complete my time, and have been fighting to breathe since then. Since returning from Iraq, my symptoms have, I would say at the beginning, it was a gradual, you would notice a change. Hey, it's a little trouble walking around the block. Maybe a little, I'm getting winded earlier. And then it started to, I don't want to say pick up speed, but I noticed more where I was seeing a doctor regularly or visiting a quick care or ER. Again, I thought I was having some sort of heart attack or some issue. I couldn't breathe. Chest felt like rubber bands. Excuse me. This is daily right here trying to talk. And since then, I've been working with the VA and private doctors trying to figure out what's going on so we can get some sort of diagnosis and move forward. My first step to even getting documentation through the VA was signing up for the Gulf War Registry and the Burn Pit Registry at the VA. They sent me down to LA to do their first workups, and that's where I was first told that I had multiple nodules in both lungs. I've had CT and X-rays before, nothing had ever showed. So that started the workup process. Got a GP at my local VA clinic, and our conversation was essentially like us. I told her I deployed in 08, 09, was around the burn pits. And her first question was, what are burn pits? And that raised a huge red flag. You're a VA doctor treating 9/11 vets, and you don't know what a burn pit is. From there, we did a couple workups. She told me that I needed to exercise and had allergies. We started an exercise routine workup to report back to her, still no change. And then I finally requested a pulmonologist out in town. VA approved that and paid for me to see a local pulmonologist in Ventura. When I went and saw him, his first thing was, you have allergies. We went and saw an allergy doctor with a negative result to indoor-outdoor allergies. Went back, they performed a PFT, said my PFT showed lungs of a 70-year-old. Did another CT scan with negative response, followed by another PFT where they said, hey, nothing's wrong. So one PFT showed I was 70, one PFT that showed nothing. Excuse me. Went back right around January of this year, and that's when the authorization expired. Around that same time, I started coughing up blood in the evening. along with the not being able to breathe. Finally got the new authorization back to the pulmonologist, and his answer was the bleeding is just due to coughing. You probably have post-nasal drip and you need to start exercising. Had me start walking 10 minutes a day, adding 5 minutes on it. And then sent me to cardiologist for a workup. And essentially that's where we are now. Went to the pulmonologist. He and in his opinion, it was needed exercise more. Had me start walking 10 minutes a day, adding 5 minutes on that to try to build my lung capacity. And then we've been referred to a cardiologist for a full workup. It just feels like each doctor wants to point to another doctor and send you there. It's not here. I'm going to send you to someone else. And we're essentially, or at least me, trying to prove, hey, it's not this. Let's go back and look at it again. And they send me to the next doctor. Well, this came back negative, and like a ping pong ball bouncing around. At home, I have a pulse ox to my finger that's taken in the morning, lunch, and at night. And then when I start feeling short of breath, also blood pressure cuff to monitor blood pressure and pulse through there. Those are the only two things that I've had. And I just try to keep a log, a handwritten log to take to the doctors and show them. My pulse ox drops daily. It could be with exercise. It could be laying in bed at night. I average 93 to 95. At night, I'll drop into the upper 80s, 88, 87. And when it comes on, it's almost like you can feel it. So it makes me want to go grab it and test it and check it and, see where we're at. And none of that has ever seemed to help with a diagnosis, or doctors seem to skim over it when I bring it in. At first, it didn't seem like there was much effect. A little trouble breathing. Hey, I need to sit down and get a breath. But it's turned into, we went to theme parks. My kids, not last year because COVID, year before, I would get about 30 minutes in and we were stopping, taking breaks. By 2 p.m, I just feel drained and exhausted every day. My productivity of what I can do around the house is decreased. And now my wife and I try to plan, we believe this is going to keep getting progressively worse. And before I'm on an oxygen tank, what are the things we can do with my kids and go see stuff, and, why I still have any capacity left to go out. My job after leaving the Navy had me being away from home for a set amount of time due to the difficulty breathing and what the job entailed. That job was no longer a viable option, and now work completely as a desk job. The first thing I would recommend is start documenting it. Even if you think it's nothing big, but hey, I got this cough that doesn't go away, you need to start your own documentation for historical purposes. Seems every time I go to a doctor, it's the first thing they want to know. Well, how has it been the last year? And don't take no for an answer. If I would have took no the first time I went and saw a doc and they told me, it's exercise, I don't know where I would be right now. We have too many of our brothers and sisters out there dying from this. You've got to take care of yourself. To healthcare providers, I would say, please take some time and look at the studies that have been done. All the tests, all the stuff you do in the clinic is not adding up to the symptoms that we're seeing. Please spread the word around. We need your help. My wife, 3 years ago, had surgery down in LA, and we were in the hospital for a week due to her surgery. She was on, I think, the 12th or 13th floor. And every day, I stayed at the hospital. I'd walk down to the galley to get food, but I would always use those stairs instead of the elevator to just more exercise. So 3 years ago, I was walking 13 flights of stairs. At my current job now, I have 1 flight of stairs. By the time I get to my desk, I'm sitting there 5-10 minutes trying to catch my breath and calm myself down. And the only other thing I would add, whether you're a local representative, whether you're a VA representative, a federal government representative, we need to get this information out there. Just like we did for the firefighters and medics at 9/11 when those buildings collapsed, we're struggling. We need the word out there so civilian doctors understand, and they can start more research and looking into ways to help us better.